Welcome back, beloveds. So, we are picking up on season 2, episode 4. I'm still getting used to saying it all, but we're picking up on season 2, episode 4. As most of you know, we are studying the book of Genesis, but we've also incorporated the book of Jasher as well because they kind of correlate, right? As I said before, Genesis is kind of like the overview. It's like the broad picture versus Jasher, it's the pinpointed details, right? So we pick up in Genesis chapter 14 and Jasher chapter 16, right? So in our last episode, we were talking about Lot, talking about, just him and Abram having to separate, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to go pitch my tent, pick up my people, and we're going to go live near Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So this is where we're picking up. So as Lot is living near Sodom and Gomorrah, of course, when you live near shenanigans, you tend to get involved in the shenanigans, right? So the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah ended up going to war with other, like the other little cities around Sodom and Gomorrah. And yep, you guessed it, it's the same Sodom and Gomorrah that Lot decided, I'm just to go live over there, right? I'm just to go live close by there. So they ended up going to war. And what I found interesting about this war that was taking place between the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah and the other surrounding kings, right? The place where they were warring, like the battleground, so to speak, right? It was called Siddim. And so I had to look this up because I had never heard of Siddim before. But basically, it was like a place filled with something called slime pits. Now, again, I have never heard anything about slime pits or anything like that. So I had to look that up as well, only to find out that slime pits were basically like pits filled with tar, right? It was like molten asphalt, like tar pits kind of a thing, and they would kind of ooze up from the ground. It's kind of similar to like quicksand, but instead of quicksand, it's like hot oozing tar pits, right? Immediately when I saw it and I looked it up, I was like, kind of sounds like hell is burning beneath Siddim. And so they're fighting in these tar pits or whatever, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah, they lost the battle, right? So the other kings, they take them captive, take Lot captive, along with all the other people, take their goods, take they gold, all of the things that they owned, right? These other kings took it away as as their bounty, so to speak, right? For winning those battles with the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot is now in captivity because he decided, again, he was going to go live near Sodom and Gomorrah. So now he has to deal with the ramifications of living next to Sodom and Gomorrah. So anywho, Abram hears about the fact that Lot has been taken and all of his goods and all of that kind of stuff. And he decides, I got to go get my nephew. Right? So he assembles like 300, I think it's like 300 plus men to go and, get him back. So Abram shows up, and basically the people, they end up, the other kings, right? He shows up with his men, and what ends up happening is they end up releasing the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot and what the stuff that the other kings had stole. They end up releasing all of that stuff, right, to Abram. They end up releasing it back to Abram. Now, this was my first time ever hearing or knowing that Lot was technically rescued twice, right? The only time that I really ever heard about Lot getting rescued was when the angels went and got him out right before the sulfur and this burning sulfur and the asphalt and all that kind of stuff. That's the first time that I had heard about Lot being rescued. I had never been told that, oh no, Lot was rescued twice. The first time he was rescued was during this altercation where Abram had to send 300 men to go get him, right? So immediately I'm looking at Lot with the side eye. Like, wait a minute. You decided that you was going to go live near the sin. You're going to take your cattle, your servants, your wife, kids. You're going to take them to go live near sin, right? Then you get there and you're living near the sin. The sinful place goes to war, and as a result, they get taken captive, and as a result, you get taken captive along with your family, along with your wife, along with your cattle, along with your servants, right? Everything gets taken captive because you decided you was going to go live near the sin. I want you to let that register for a second. How many times have you, I know I have, so let me go and throw myself under the bus, right? How many times have you decided, I'm going to go to a place, or I'm going to, indulge, not even indulge in, but be close to something that I know I probably shouldn't be? And I end up in some sort of captivity. And the people around me, my loved ones, friends, family, whoever it may be, they end up having to go through something too because I made a bad choice. I'm raising my hand because I'm going to start with me. You ain't even got to say it. I'm going to start with me. You know what I mean? And so realizing that was the situation with Lot, it's like, okay, so Lot was really out here with the shenanigans and the foolishness. He really was out here with the shenanigans and the foolishness, for real. And it's like hearing that, right? Hearing that he had been taken captive. Abram releases him, right? He goes to get him, gets him released. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that too. But why would you decide to go back? You know what I mean? Like, you just went through this whole ordeal to where your uncle had to come get you, and you decide when you get out, I'm gonna go back to where I was living at, near Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, make it make sense, Lot. Make it make sense. For real. So, yeah, he was doing the most. Anywho, so as Abram is releasing Lot from the captivity, this mysterious person shows up. This is where Melchizedek gets introduced, right? Now, Melchizedek is not talked about in the Bible. I want to say just this time, right? And then it's referenced in the New Testament, like the order of Melchizedek and things like that, right? So as I was listening to my pastor, Pastor Omar Tebow, he was explaining the characteristics of Melchizedek, right? And he basically kind of showed like Melchizedek in this situation. This was probably Yeshua showing up. This was probably Yeshua showing up. But I'm gonna put a bookmark in that because we're talking about Lot right now. But we're gonna get back to that later on. So bookmark Melchizedek because we are going to come back to that in the future episodes, right? So, back to Lot. Sorry, I'm reading my notes to make sure I don't miss nothing. So, yeah, okay. So, all of Lot's riches, all of the things were returned back to him. This is what, and when I say riches, I mean like his cattle, his servants, all of his stuff was returned back to him. This is where Yah showed me that even in our foolishness, he gives us grace and he gives us unmerited favor. Abram just had to take 300 of his men to come get Lot. Only for them to get there, get Lot released, and Abram like, okay, here's all of your stuff back. Basically on some, here's your stuff back, stay out of trouble kind of thing, you know what I mean? But it's like that, the favor that was shown to Lot in this situation, because he didn't have to give him back his stuff. He didn't have to give him back his cattle. He didn't have to give him back his servant. He didn't have to, but he did, right? Lot has grace, mercy, and favor. And he still decides, I'm going to go live near sin. I'm going to go back living next to Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, are you serious? Are you serious, Lot? Like, are you for real right now? Like, you could have went anywhere. You could have even in this moment given up your pride and said, you know what, Abram? You know what, Uncle? I don't think I need to live that way no more. So I'm going to give you all my stuff. Since the reason that they separated in the first place is because, they had too much stuff. They needed to separate. I mean, why when you in that moment humble yourself and be like, Uncle, let me come live with you. You can take over all of my things. You know what I mean? Just let us come stay closer to you. Even if you don't want us necessarily living with you, let us come stay closer to you, and I'm gonna give my servants over to you. That way they are under your command, right? And if you decide to let them go, do you. Because I don't think I want to go live near the sin no more after being captive of war because of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. Why wasn't that the thought process? After you just experienced favor, after you just experienced grace, after you just experienced mercy, why wouldn't that have been the mindset? You know what I mean? That's what makes me think like Lot was on some shenanigans. He was on them shenanigans because there's no reason for him to have went back. You see what I'm saying? Like, why put yourself back in that situation? So, when I read this, like I said, I told you before, one of the things that I used to always want to go back to was Georgia, right? And it's like, the Lord rescued me from Georgia. Why go back? For what reason? Only for me to realize, the only reason you want to go back is because the sin of Georgia is familiar to you. The sin of Atlanta is familiar to you. So, let me rescue you, pull you away from that, and let's get you together. And as a result, I've been able to visit a couple of times with my spouse, but I've never been able to just go back and stay for long periods of time because he's like, nope, absolutely not. I rescued you from this. I rescued you from your sin. I rescued you from the temptation of sin. We're not supposed to go back into it like a dog returning back to their vomit. You see what I'm saying? And that's the vibe that Lot kind of gave me. It's like, bro, why you keep trying to get to Sodom and Gomorrah so bad? You know they doing the foolishness. What's up with you? Like, why you acting like that? Anywho, so that was the breakdown that I kind of got from Genesis chapter 14 and Jasher verses 16. Again, we are going to come back to the part about Melchizedek in future episodes, so continue to bookmark that. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought about it. Like, as you were reading Genesis chapter 14 and Jasher chapter 16, what did you see? What did the Holy Spirit drop on you? Because these are all of the things that he dropped on me. And like I said, I asked specifically for him to disciple me, to teach me, to be my mentor, to be my guide, right? I didn't want to learn his word from other people. I wanted to learn it from him and then supplement what I learned from him with the teachings of, the people that he puts in my life, kind of a thing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. But outside of that, be sure to like, share, and comment, right? Turn your notifications on and all of that. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.